Fonseca ball has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. It's arrived at Milan. Milan back-to-back wins. Milan sit top of the Serie A league table. They've just destroyed Lecce 3-0. Why? How did it happen? Did they play in the same way they played against Inzaghi's Inter? No. And that's the beauty in this Milan team. But are we beginning to see the early signs of positional rotation at Fonseca's Milan? Because there were moments, and those moments were unlocked that Lecce defense. But before we get into everything, if you're new, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like, make sure to comment. I always appreciate what you guys have to say. Let's get into it. Now, it's only right we familiarize ourselves with how Fonseca set up his Milan team and how it was different to Inter in the Milan derby. Number one, 2-4-4 on the ball, whilst against Inter, it was a 3-4-1-2 with Fofana dropping into the middle of Gabby and Tomori. Why? Inter pose a bigger threat. They've got the better attacking players. You want that extra player in defense to help you out, to provide that extra layer of protection and security. Fonseca's looked at Lecce and he was brave. We don't need that extra player in defense. If anything, we need the extra player in midfield or in attack to dominate the game, to take the game to Lecce. And I trust Gabby and Tomori to get the job done. So Milan, 2-4-4 on the ball with Emerson Royale and Theo Hernandez bombing forward to make a midfield with Fofana and Reinders. Off the ball, the same structure that paid dividends in the Milan derby. The 4-2-4 spearheaded by Rafa, Leao, Abraham, Morata and Christian Pulisic. Now, the 4-2-4, the thing that makes it difficult to break down, the thing that's shown the whole world in the past two games, teams struggle against this 4-2-4. Why? It's aggressive in the press, but most importantly, it's compact. It isn't a stretched open 4-2-4. No, it is very compact. You can't play in between the lines. You can't find space. It forces you to play long. And if you play long, the Milan defense put out the fire. But there are two key players I want to focus on when discussing the 4-2-4. And it's Milan's left-hand side, and Theo Hernandez and Rafa Leao. Now, positional rotation is pretty simple. It's when two players rotate with one another on the pitch. Let's look at Milan and let's look at Theo Hernandez and Rafa Leao in particular. The 2-4-4, how does it originally start up? The original setup is the 2-4-4 with Theo Hernandez being part of that first layer of four with Emerson Royale, Reinders and Fofana. Now ahead of him is the second layer of four, Rafa Leao, Tammy Abraham, Morata and Christian Pulisic. Positional rotation is when players swap positions, which means their roles, their responsibilities, their duties change. But this can only happen by having an understanding with your teammate, having that chemistry. And that is something Rafa Leao and Theo Hernandez have from playing over the years down the left-hand side together. They've built that chemistry. They've built that understanding. They're familiar with one another's strengths and weaknesses. But this is how it would look. This is the original 2-4-4. Within a matter of seconds, Leao would occupy the deeper four, whilst Theo Hernandez would be the more advanced. What are the benefits of this? It keeps the opposition guessing. 1 minute you're coming up against Leao, the other minute you're coming up against Theo Hernandez. But let's look at the first two goals. A Lecce defender by the name of Doku, he was in big trouble. And they troubled him from minute 1 to minute 90. Let's look at the first goal. Milan playing out of the back. Theo Hernandez starts to make that run forwards from a central area. Once he makes that run forwards, that is the perfect indication to Leao, which is, I'm going to occupy the zone higher up. You need to stay wide and stay part of that midfield layer of four. But the beauty in it is, as a defender, as a right back for Lecce, you're at a crossroads. You don't know what to do because you're sat thinking, I need to now mark Theo Hernandez, who is making that run from a central area. This is now an extra player joining Milan's attack. I need to mark him, but it's a catch-22. If you mark him, you leave Rafa Leao out wide open with time and space. And that's exactly what happened. He began to focus more on the extra player in attack, Theo Hernandez, which left Rafa Leao out wide in isolation. Now Rafa Leao does what he does best, picks up the ball, carries it, wins the free kick, which leads to Morata's goal from an amazing delivery from Theo Hernandez. But now that I've put the idea of positional rotation in your head, let's look at the second goal. The second goal was the exact same thing. Milan playing out of the back. Theo Hernandez once again with the movement from a central area, but the defender that we mentioned, Doku from Lecce. This time, he was like, last time, I stuck to Theo Hernandez and it didn't work. So this time, let me go push out wide and get Rafa Leao. But when you do that, guess what happens? You leave the space in that central area that he should be occupying for Theo Hernandez to attack in behind. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter. When he went out wide to Rafa Leao, he left space for Theo Hernandez to attack. When he stayed inside, inwards, to mark Theo Hernandez, he left the space out wide for Rafa Leao. Rafa Leao with an amazing pass. Weak foot, by the way. Let's just put it out there. Breaking news. Weak foot. The timing, the accuracy, the weight of that pass. He put it on a plate for his teammate to run onto into the roof of the net. Now that is positional play. Now it's only right we speak on the man of the match, Theo Hernandez. He had a monster performance. But the thing about me and when it comes to Theo Hernandez is I feel like his performances are always linked with other aspects of Milan's team. When Theo plays well, he benefits everybody because Rafa Leao plays well. You can clearly see the chemistry and the understanding they have with one another. And when they were both out of the Milan team, Milan weren't performing. The benefits that he brings to Rafa Leao, to this whole Milan team, his versatility, what he offers in attack for a fullback. Like, he had a monster performance. He had a goal. He had an assist. He had 7 defensive actions and 92% pass accuracy, 4 out of 4 ground duels and 3 key passes for a player that didn't even play 90 minutes. He is, in my opinion, the best fullback in the Serie A and the best left back in the world. And he's beginning to showcase that on a consistent basis. And that's one thing that Milan and Fonseca need. They need their best of players to be performing week in, week out, because it benefits the team in so many different ways. But his performance was special. Now, Fonseca's always spoken highly of attacking as a team, defending as a team, pressing as a team, team chemistry. That Milan third goal had all of those things in combination. And it was at a period of the game where Milan smelt blood. Lecce looked fragile. They looked nervous. They looked like they were praying for half-time. So Milan put them out of their misery. Rafa Leao initiates the press. When a player initiates the press, it means they've now left their position to attack the opposition. The position they leave behind needs to now be occupied by their teammate. And you can now clearly see from the forward, as soon as Rafa Leao went, Reinders followed up. So now that you're going and you're leaving this space unmarked, no problem. We're teammates, I got your back. I'm now going to push forward. And that's why as soon as the Lecce defender tried to pass the ball into midfield, Reinders was on his touch. But now the beauty in Reinders, a midfielder, stepping up. And like we've said, it's a 4-2-4 setup. So Milan already have 4 players initiating the press. When the midfielders join in, it's extra players joining the press. It gives Milan that numerical advantage. So now you've got Rafa Leao pressing. You've got Reinders following him. And then you've got Morata tucking inside to help them. All of a sudden, it became a 3-man press against 2 Lecce defenders. What are the benefits of this? You're pressing as a team, but you've now got that numerical advantage. It's a 3v2. Milan always have the extra player. Guess who won the ball back for Milan? The extra player in Alvaro Morata. And I think his pressing throughout the game was immense. He wins the ball back. Now it's about attacking as a team. And this is the benefit of the 2-4-4 structure, where your attack is 4 players. So you've got passing angles left and right. You've got 4 players in attack. You've got options. You've got Tammy Abraham. You've got Christian Pulisic. You've got Rafa Leao. Then you've got the midfielders that bomb forwards. You've got the fullbacks. Theo Hernandez always constantly overlapping, underlapping. Milan go on to score the 3rd goal, which officially killed the game. But throughout the game, you saw a lot of positive signs from the Rafa Leao Theo Hernandez relationship and how they're beginning to interchange and swap with one another just to provide something new. Bring something new to this Milan attack. Keep the opposition guessing. The third goal is everything Fonseca's been speaking about the whole season. Attacking as a team, defending as a team, pressing as a team, knowing when to press, knowing when to tuck inside, knowing when to push forwards. And once again, for the second week in a row, it's paid dividends as Milan destroy Lecce 3-0. Now, if you're new, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like, make sure to comment and let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys on another one.